Office and Sharjah FDI Office in Western Sharjah. I would like to thank you all for participating at Sharjah Business Dialogue with Shandong Province. The webinar here today, Business Opportunity in Sharjah. My name is Alex Wang. I'm Bureau Chief of China Economic Daily in UAE. It's my great honor to be a part of this special event as a native of Shandong. Today, we're gonna have 3 sessions. The webinar will kick off with welcome addresses given by senior officials from Sharjah FDI office and Shandong Business Office, followed by a panel discussion on investment opportunities in Sharjah, which is gonna provide you a great insights about what Sharjah could offer to Chinese investors, especially for the enterprises from Shandong province. So now I would like to introduce our speakers today. Mr. Mohammed Juma Al-Mushari, CEO of Invest in Sharjah. Welcome. Mr. Minghui Guo. Yes, Mr. Minghui Guo, Chief Representative, Shandong Business Office, West Asia and Africa. Welcome. And Mr. Marwan Alijila, Managing Director of Sharjah Investor Service Center, Said. Welcome. And Mr. Frank Fong, Vice President, GTS, Inspur Software Group. Welcome all gentlemen. Okay, first I would love to invite Mr. Mohammed Al-Mushari, the CEO of Invest in Sharjah, to deliver his opening remark. Please, Mr. Mohammed.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And I would like in the beginning actually to thank Mr. Minghui Go from Shandong Business Office for organizing with us this seminar today. We in Sharjah have a very good relationship with China. We have ties with different provinces in China, and one of them is Shandong actually. So we would like to take this opportunity to explore different business opportunities between Sharjah and Shandong. There are so many opportunities that we can work on together. During the past months, I would say the pandemic have hit both economies strongly, but we are optimistic that the coming months will be definitely better with the announcements of so many vaccine all around the world. I think by the first quarter of 2021, we will be able to travel to meet our friends and colleagues and business partners all around the world, and especially China. And we would be very happy to actually start our business trips by having a physical or face-to-face seminar with Shandong province. Thank you.
你没开话筒。
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mohammed. Thank you so much. Now let's welcome Mr. Minghui Guo, Chief Representative, Shandong Business Office, West Asia and Africa, to give us the welcome note. Please, Mr. Guo, please.
尊敬的穆罕默德先生和各位嘉宾，尊敬的在阿吉山东省内企业家朋友们，大家好！很高兴有机会参加本次对话活动。首先，应该感谢沙家投资推广署主办本次沙家山东线上商务对话论坛，也感谢阿联酋山东企业代表和山东省内企业代表积极参与本次活动。近年来，山东经济社会建设取得了一系列的成就，生产总值一直排名中国第3。今年前3季度，山东省生产总值达到5.2万亿，增长1.9%。在对外贸易和经济合作方面，一是对外贸易持续发展。今年1到10月份， 全省货物进出口额达到1.76万亿，比同期增长5.8%，排名中国第6。二是对外投资快速增长，今年1到10月份累计对外投资490.6亿元，增长44.3%。三是一带一路深度融入，今年1到10月，山东对一带一路沿线国家进出口总额达到5288.6亿元，增长10.5%，占全省外贸进出口总值的30%。对一带一路沿线国家实际投资139.5亿元，增长54.2%，占全省的28.4%，高于全国12.1个百分点。随着国家“一带一路”战略的不断发展，当前有越来越多的山东企业走出来，参与“一带一路”国家建设，共享发展红利。阿联酋是一带一路沿线重要国家，全球领先的商业中心，拥有先进的技术设施和世界级的商业环境。目前在阿联酋已经有海尔、海信、山东高速、浪潮、杰瑞、汉兰、秦明等知名山东企业，覆盖了石油机械、贸易、高科技工程等众多领域和行业。沙迦是阿联酋第3大酋长国，是阿联酋的文化、工业和教育中心，是经济最多元的酋长国之一，也是阿拉伯半岛重要的国际交通枢纽。沙迦也有非常宽松的投资环境和优惠的政策。稍后，沙迦投资推广署马万先生会详细介绍这方面的情况。下面我再简要介绍一下咱们代表处的情况。山东省人民政府驻西亚非洲经贸代表处是2018年2月12日经省政府同意设立的驻外经贸机构。代表处的驻在地就在阿联酋的迪拜，主要职责是负责联系西亚非洲地区政府部门、经贸机构、民间组织和社会各界，宣传推介山东经济社会发展的成果、对外贸易政策，建立经贸合作渠道，研究双方经贸合作重点领域，提出合作建议，承担山东与西亚非洲地区双向投资推广、贸易促进、重点项目推介和跟踪对接、重大经贸活动组织等工作。欢迎山东的企业积极走出来，拓展海外市场，也欢迎海外企业家朋友们到山东走一走、看一看。我们代表处会提供一切力所能及的协助。最后，感谢穆罕默德先生和各位企业家朋友们，预祝本次线上对话活动取得圆满成功。谢谢大家。
Thank you so much, Mr. Guo. Thank you so much, Mr. Guo. Okay, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to our panel sessions on investment opportunities in Sharjah. First, we will have our panelists to introduce their own organizations, followed by another 2 rounds of questions. At the end, we're going to have a Q&A sessions. So please don't hesitate to leave your remarks and questions. Later on, our panelists will give you comprehensive answers to your questions. So let's get started from Mr. Mohammed. Mr. Mohammed, could you please give us a brief introduction about Sharjah FDI office? What is the role and the function is attracting FDI to Sharjah? Please.
Thank you, Mr. Alex. Maybe before I speak about our organization, I want to speak about the Emirate of Sharjah. Sharjah is the 3rd largest emirate in the United Arab Emirates after Abu Dhabi, the capital, and Dubai comes Sharjah. Sharjah is well known as the industrial as well as the cultural capital of the UAE. We have a population of around 1.2 million, and we have a GDP of around 25 billion US dollars. We have 1 international airport, which is Sharjah International Airport. We have 3 different seaports, 2 seaports on the Arabian Gulf, and we have 1 port on the Indian Ocean. Sharjah has more than 18 industrial areas with an excellent infrastructure for manufacturers. We have around 6 free zones. As you may heard about the new law, now people can, or foreigners can own 100% their companies in free zones as well as outside the free zones, but we still have some competitive advantages when it comes to our 6 different free zones. So the role of Sharjah FDI office is to help these investors do business in Sharjah. We provide the investors with information. We do the facilitation process for investors to come and to explore different opportunities in the Emirate of Sharjah. We are focusing on a few sectors when promoting Sharjah and attracting investments. Definitely, when COVID hit, we changed our strategy a little bit, and we also changed the focus sectors in investment, I would say. The focus currently is more on technology. We are focusing on companies, attracting companies in innovation, like the one who make the drones, the robotics, companies in AI, cyber security. This is the focus post-COVID, I would say, but we will definitely continue also targeting companies in sectors like healthcare, logistics and transportation, tourism. Hopefully, the tourism will come back very soon, but we in Sharjah have always been focusing on a niche sector within tourism, which is ecotourism. Food security is something that we are also focusing on currently with agrotech and aquatech. We have recently launched one of our new free zones, which is Sharjah Research and Technology Park, and this shows actually how Sharjah is going to focus on innovation and technology.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mohammed, for your introduction. We're going to talk about the new law later. I do have a lot of questions for you. So yes, please. As we attended the Sharjah FDI Forum last year, we witnessed the launch of Sharjah Investor Service Center, a world-class one-stop shop to facilitate setting up of business in Sharjah. Now we will show a video about the Said Center. Please enjoy.
Sharjah Investors Services Center, Said, a unique platform that caters to the visions and needs of the investors, individual and companies alike. As we believe in the value of your time and the importance of your comfort, we offer you a one-stop shop for all Sharjah government entities and department services. At Said, transactions are done in the least amount of time within a professional and hospitable space. Providing you with a personal advisor along with multi-purpose meeting rooms as per your needs. Said, a step to a more sustainable growth for the investors within the Emirate of Sharjah.
Okay, it's a fantastic video. Now, Mr. Marwan, could you give us a brief introduction about the Said Center? What are the main services you provide? Thank you so much, please.
Thank you, Mr. Alex. Actually, we usually say a video worth million of words. So this make it easier for me to describe what is Said. So allow me to share a brief about what Said is and what values we stand for. So Sharjah Investor Services Center, Said, is a dynamic entity created and operated by Sharjah FDI Office Invest in Sharjah, specifically to help investors and entrepreneurs to set up their businesses in the Emirate of Sharjah with unheard of speed and efficiency. So the center is the first of kind in the Emirate. We offer at Said a complete range of government solutions for investors and all under one roof. Our mission is to be the top world-class investor services center in the Emirate of Sharjah and also in the region, which provides efficient and prompt services to all local current investors and foreign investors looking to set up their businesses in the Emirate of Sharjah. So what do we offer as Said? We offer a fully integrated 360-degree government solution to enable investors to complete the formality of business setup with the speed of efficiency they demand. Said meaning is the happiness, which reflects our values, ensuring that we offer the best services for investors. So let me give you a brief and some of the main services that we provide here in Said. We offer a lot of services for investors, starting from issuing or reserving the trade license and license issuance. So all services related to Sharjah Economic Department Authority here in Sharjah. Following, we provide services related to Sharjah Chamber Commerce and Industry, such as membership registration, origin certificate of association member. Also, we do provide Sharjah municipality services, including clearance certificates, attestation of tenancy contracts, both for residential and commercial. Moreover, we also signed an agreement with the Federal Authority for Identity and Citizenship to offer services such as issuance of establishment card of the company. Also, we help you with the entry pyramids for investors and also for your families. So now at Said's Investor Services Center, we don't only offer services for investors, but we also serve individuals and families. So all citizens who are looking to live here in Sharjah, we can offer them a whole solutions which they need to stay here or to live in Sharjah. In addition, we provide legal services, advisory services for investors to establish their companies. We have a notary clerk who is available at the Said Center to deliver all required services such as attestations, power of attorney. We also provide services of Ministry of Human Resources for companies to get permits of work, contracts, also issue labor contracts. We also added services of insurance for companies and for individuals to be done through the center. And what is more special about Saeed is we signed with one of the free zones based here in Sharjah to offer their services and issue a free zone license for investors looking to set up their operation in Sharjah through Sharjah Media City Shams. So Sharjah Media City Shams is one of the free zones we have here in Sharjah, and we offer the whole services to open a company in this free zone outside their premises. So this makes our center a very special center. We offer also a variety of services to individuals, such as renewing driver license, renewing the vehicles, also paying the fines, traffic fines. So in a nutshell, these are the most important services that we have here in Saeed. And also we are looking into to add more services in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Marwan. Basically, you cover all kinds of services. So now let's back to the company side. Let's welcome Mr. Frank from Inspire Group. Frank, same question to you. Give us a general idea about the Inspire Group and what technologies and services you would like the public and the private ecosystem to get benefit from your group. Please.
Yes, thanks, Alex. Good morning, Mr. Mohammed, Mr. Guo, Mr. Marwan, and Mr. Alex. Thanks for the time to get the chance to have this dialogue with all of you people. Let me introduce my company first. Inspire Group is China's leading solution provider for cloud computing, big data, and artificial intelligence. Of course, headquartered in Shandong, China. The group has totally more than 35,000 employees globally. We have 4 business groups, which are cloud data center, cloud and big data service, smart city, and smart enterprise. I'm working for one of the 4 business group, is the smart city business group. We would like to bring the industry digitalization solutions to UAE based on Inspire's cloud computing software and hardware. I would show you people one example for you to understand our technologies and services better. The example is the innovative smart transportation solution. With the edge computing server, the IoT sensor, and also the artificial intelligence control algorithms, Inspire's new generation smart transportation solutions provide an all-in-one edge server to replace the traditional PLC controller in a traffic intersection, so as to decrease the total cost of the traffic light system, meanwhile to increase the vehicles passing through efficiency. So I don't want to explain too more detailed technology, but this is just an example to show you how we change the traditional lives. In other words, we would promote the new technologies that keep UAE people living in a high efficiency society. That's my introduction to the company, Mr. Alex.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Frank. Okay, let's back to Mr. Mohammed. Mr. Mohammed, as we know, Sharjah is one of 7 emirates in UAE and next to Dubai. So could you please illustrate more about how Sharjah is different from other emirates? What are the benefits to invest in Sharjah? Please.
Thank you, Alex, again. I mean, we are a country of 7 different emirates, and each emirate has its own characteristics. I mean, if you look at Abu Dhabi, the focus might be more into oil and gas and defense, I would say. If you look at Dubai, it's more of a trade hub, a financial city, I would say. Then comes Sharjah as the cultural and industrial hub of the UAE, the educational hub of the UAE, I would say. So Sharjah's location also plays a major role in giving Sharjah that uniqueness as well. If you look at the map of the UAE, and I mentioned that Sharjah is the third largest emirate between Abu Dhabi. After Abu Dhabi, Dubai comes Sharjah, and then the Northern Emirates. So the location of Sharjah, where it connects Abu Dhabi and Dubai with the rest of the Emirates, and then having coastlines on both the Arabian Gulf and the Indian Ocean on the other side, and having these three ports, two of them again on the Arabian Gulf and one on the Indian Ocean, gives us a competitive advantage in some sectors, and especially the logistics and transportation sector. And also the infrastructure that we have, I mean, that His Highness have built from the 1970s to attract so many manufacturers to come to the Emirate of Sharjah also gives us a very competitive advantage. I mean, when you look at the facilities that we have here in the Emirate of Sharjah, when you look at the ease of doing business and compared to the cost that you pay compared to other places in the region, you will definitely see that Sharjah really has a good offering for investors and for investments. And also the type of projects that we are looking at attract might be a little bit different. If you look at the ecotourism, where there is a huge focus currently in Sharjah, we are trying to develop the eastern region of Sharjah, which is Khorfakan, Kalba, and where Sharjah Investment and Development Authority here comes in the region by building so many ecotourism projects in that area. I think gives us a competitive advantage. And at the end of the day, I mean, we are focusing on few sectors that I have mentioned previously. Other emirates might not have that focus. And again, this is the beauty about the UAE, where I think we don't compete each other, but rather we complement each other. I mean, sometimes if a company comes and want to set up a financial company in Sharjah, my advice would be you better go and do this in Dubai. But if someone is coming and looking at, let's say, investing in environment or recycling, we have a huge potential in this sector because we have a company, which is Sharjah Environment Company, which is doing extremely well in this sector. I mean, if you are looking at innovation and technology, again, we have the talent pool, we have the students in the university city, we have the enablers for such companies through the research and technology part. If you are in media, for example, we have the Sharjah Media City. If you are a startup, and I think startups and small and medium companies are now the drivers of the economies. We have a center for startups, which is called Sharjah Entrepreneurship Center. So this, I think, all of this makes Sharjah unique. My colleague Marwan spoke about the center, the new center, which is Saeed, where we have all the government procedures under one roof. a one-stop shop for all investors. And what makes this more unique is it is run by an Invest in Sharjah. So we have the opportunities for investors. We know the information, we have the market knowledge, and then we package for you all these services, so you don't have to go through the hassle and the PROs and all of these um, what do they call them? The legal firms that give you some guidance on how to do business. So all of this is available in Sharjah, whether through Invest in Sharjah or through Saeed Center.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. By the way, you know, the Medium City is quite impressive. Maybe next year I'm going to move my office to Sharjah from Abu Dhabi, inshallah.
You are most welcome in
Thank
any
you
of
so
our
much.
prisons.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed.
And
Okay,
through
Mr.
Saeed, we will finish you in one day.
Okay, thank you so much. It's my pleasure. Okay, Mr. Marwan, I got a question for you. Talking about the Investor Service Center, Saeed, in your opinion, what are the advantages of Saeed Center? Please.
So what makes us special, and how we did it special, how we did and how we created a special investor service center. There are a couple of and a lot of investor services center here in the Emirate of Sharjah. But what made us special from other investor services centers is the procedures or the experience of the investor or the visitor at the center, where we don't have a token system, we don't have a waiting area, there is no counters in the center. Hence, you enter the center and and one of our customer happiness consultant receive you in the main hall, where you sit with him and you give him your applications, whether it is from the Sharjah Economic Department, or it is a Sharjah municipality application, or even if it is a visa application or a health insurance or whatever. So you only meet one person who receive you. You don't go to any counter. You don't have to take a token to wait for your turn. You receive this customer happiness consultant receive your whole applications, and he finalizes it with you without getting you involved in the process of different government entities. And you receive your application through this advisor. So what makes us special, what are the advantages that we give for investors here in Saeed, is we offer an advisor who has the whole information about all processes of applications, whether it is from different entities, whether it is legal. We have a specialized person who can advise you with legal terms. So this is what makes us special.
Okay, it's a totally a package, and also it's a totally a package, and also it's a one-stop services, right?
Right. Yes. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let's talk about the Inspire Group, Frank. We heard that the Inspire Group is interested to set up a regional HQ in UAE. And at the same time, you show more interest in Sharjah. So could you tell us why Sharjah? What made you to choose here?
Yes, I know plenty of multinational companies. They had set up their regional headquarters in UAE. I actually was introduced by Shuruk to Sharjah Research Technology and Innovation Park last year. Mr. Mohammed also mentioned this technology park just now. I was really impressed by their vision and also planning. I can see that Sharjah has a long-term vision for the technology-driven society development. I saw that some industry leading companies like Nokia, SAP, ABB, and also Skyway had set up their offices in Sharjah already. So for sure, I do believe it's going to be a nice choice for the technology companies to set up office in Sharjah. Mr. Alex.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. You know, when the people talk about the investment, the people always want to know which sectors are good for investing. So I have a question for Mr. Mohammed. Mr. Mohammed, could you please let us know what are the promising sectors for Chinese investors in Sharjah, especially for the companies from Shandong province, please?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Alex, for the question. Actually, before COVID, honestly, the focus was mainly on 4 major sectors. The focus was on healthcare, renewable energy and environment, tourism, and renewable energy, tourism, and healthcare. So this was the main focus. Post-COVID, you know, so many things have changed, and we saw the importance actually of technology and how technology is going to play a major role in different economies post-COVID. So we immediately started thinking of having a new strategy, having a set of new sectors that we are going to focus on. Food security became something that is very essential for, different countries. COVID has proved that without food security, nations actually cannot sustain. So this is something major that we are currently focusing on. I mentioned the agro-technology, the aqua farming is something that we are also focusing on. So this is a call actually for Chinese companies to come and help in this sector. Then if we talk also about logistics, we saw how people during COVID, during lockdown, started buying online things, and the whole ecosystem for logistics became different, and how this sector boomed actually. And China is advanced in this technology. We have seen some robotics, some drones that does these kind of deliveries. Through one of our visits to China, we saw how Baidu is doing deliveries. So there is a huge potential actually in this sector. A huge potential in technology when it comes to 3D printing, for example, to cyber security, as I mentioned earlier, and also in EdTech, which is education technology. Again, with the pandemic, have proved that the whole education system will also be different and will change. Now we see our kids are learning from home and all of this. So the focus, I think, is going to be more on these technologies in the future. So different, and manufacturing definitely. These are different areas that we are looking to collaborate with companies from Shandong. Mr. Frank also mentioned that they were impressed by what they have seen as a technology company in Sharjah Research and Technology Park. This is again a call for all Chinese companies who want to have their regional offices in this region to consider Sharjah, to come to Sharjah. We have the right facilities, we have the right regulations, we have the right facilitation process for companies to come and set up easily, I would say.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mohammed. Definitely 2020 is a game changer to many businesses. So we're gonna continue the topic with Mr. Marwan. You know, there's no doubt 2020 is very difficult for some companies because of the pandemic. So, Mr. Marwan, due to the pandemic situation, is there any offers from Said Center to help the company to go through this challenging time?
Yeah, actually, during the pandemic, we had to, or all government entities and investor services centers had to close because of the procedures announced by the government. So we announced an initiative by Saeed, which we called it Stay at Home and the Rest on Us. And we did a hotline for all investors where they can call us and we can send our PRO to their home or to their doorsteps to receive their application and finalize it from home, from employees' home, and get it back to their doorsteps. This helped us a lot. And we did this for no extra charges. So this one of the main initiatives we announced during the pandemic. And also all payments we used to do online. So this helped us a lot also to promote the center because most of the centers were closed. People were asking for or about where to finalize their applications to avoid fines from government. Either it is related to visa renewal, lease contract attestation, ID cards renewals, and even vehicle renewals.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Marwan. Definitely, it's a big help to the companies. So now we have the last question for Frank. Yeah, Frank.
Yes.
In recent years, Sharjah is emphasizing a lot on high technologies. As a potential investor in Sharjah, what kind of support you may need from the government of Sharjah?
Okay, thanks, Alex. As we all know that the technology innovations require a specific environment. The environment must be attractive enough for the talents, the funds, and also the international collaborations. I'm glad to see that Sharjah had set up the university city since 1998, which is one of the largest university cities in the world. The university city can provide the mass talents to the technologies, the companies, and also the institutes in UAE. I know Sharjah government also invested plenty to encourage the technologies innovations in the universities. So I hope Sharjah could set up more bridges for the international technologies innovation collaborations among China, Europe, America, and even some other countries to make Sharjah as the Silicon Oasis in the whole Middle East. So that's my suggestions, Mr. Alex.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Thank you so much. Thank you all, guys. So thank you to all the speakers for their time and sharing with us the unique insights into the investment opportunity in Sharjah. We hope you had a very fruitful experience. Now we are open for any questions from you to any speakers, please. So let me check any questions. Okay, there is one question from the audience to Mr. Mohammed. Mr. Mohammed, please. Yes. The question is, recently, UAE allows 100% ownership of business for foreign nationals. So can you please share more insights about the new commercial law as to how this will affect the future FDI attraction into UAE, especially to Sharjah? Please.
Sure. The UAE has actually announced the FDI law in the beginning of the year 2020, which allowed foreign investors to own their companies 100% in 122 different activities. But as the UAE government is so dynamic and take decisions quickly, with what happened actually during the pandemic, I think a whole strategy of the UAE was rebuilt, and we have seen also that there was a major change also in the government itself in terms of the cabinet, and they have allocated 3 different ministers to handle the Ministry of Economy. So this shows that the UAE government is there to help the investors and to get more investors to the UAE. We also heard the announcement of the golden visa for investors, where investors can have a golden visa that is valid for 10 years instead of 2 years renewable. 3 weeks ago, we have heard of the new commercial law that allows foreign investors to own their companies in the UAE in any city 100%. So this will definitely be a game changer for UAE's economy in general. Companies will seriously, international companies and international investors will start looking into UAE as a lucrative market for them. The ease of doing business and the ease of the legislation is something that will attract so many companies to come. And even those companies who are currently in the UAE and they are not fully owned by these foreign investors would also be more happy, because some of them are already paying some charges for their local representatives or local sponsors, as they sometimes are called. So I think that this is a fantastic step. We as investment promotion agencies are definitely happy. This will make our job more easier actually to promote our country and to bring more investments to our country, because now it's much more easier. Before, we used to promote the free zones only as a place for companies to own their shares 100%, but today you can come and open in any of the free zones, or you can also open in the local market with 100% ownership.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a huge change for the business. Okay, any questions? Any questions already? Okay, Mr. Guo, please.
郭处，你话筒没有打开，郭处的话筒没有打开。
好，有一家企业想问一下，他们要建造大型的温室大棚为主的生态农业， 问这个商家能给什么样的土地支持和政策支持？
Through the government or through Sharjah Investment and Development Authority, we have a business development unit, which have already some plots of land allocated for such investments. So we will be more than happy to talk to this company and see what are their needs. And then accordingly, we can come up with a package for them in terms of land or anything else that they would need.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mohammed. I do remember last year a friend of mine who visited Sharjah and Abu Dhabi and Dubai to do the research. Finally, they choose the Sharjah, a machinery company.
Excellent.
Yes,
Excellent.
thank you so much. So any questions and any remarks? Frank, anything?
Alex, yes, I have one more question because I saw
please,
we still have
please.
8
It's
minutes.
your time. Yes, please.
Yes. I don't want to make Mr. Mohammed too much busy, so I would give this question to Mr. Marwan. Obviously, the university city in Sharjah has been a strategic success by now. The university city was set up in 1998. I hope to see another technology innovation city in the coming maybe 5 years or 10 years in Sharjah. So does Sharjah government have a more detailed long-term plan, like a 5 years or 10 years plan to make another technology city so that to attract more technologies company to settle in Sharjah? That's my question.
Marwan, the question for you.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. I'm seeing the university city has been a strategic success in Sharjah since it was set up in 1998. So in the coming 5 years or 10 years, does Sharjah government have another plan to set up a technology innovation city so that to attract more technology companies to settle in Sharjah? That's my question.
For sure, I think Sharjah Research, Technology and Innovation part is a good example to answer your question, where His Highness the ruler of Sharjah created this free zone to help and support and connect students with the faculty in the university and also the private sectors to implement their researches. Also, a few years ago or 1 year ago, the Sharjah University announced the Sharjah Oasis, which is also another research oasis based or it is under the Sharjah University. Sharjah University. This delivers a clear message that we here in Sharjah, we care about research. Also, we want students to be part of the research and also to implement or to divert their research into investment.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Okay, any questions? Let me check. Okay, so on behalf of investors in Sharjah, I would like to thank you all for making time today to join us this morning. It's our pleasure to host this special event, and I wish you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, guys. We see you next time. Okay, see you.